Find the point on the number line that is 1/3 of the way between 1 and 2.5. First, I will draw a number line. I'll start at 0 and go by units of 1. And then I will take each one unit and partition that in half. And I'm doing that because I would like to make sure that I also have 2.5 plotted on the number line, not just 1. So the problem says find a point on the number line that is 1/3 of the way between 1 and 2.5. So that's indicating that I'm starting at 1 and ending at 2.5, and I want to go 1/3 of the way in between here. If I do this, I can notice that there's actually 3 spaces the way that this has been done. So there's 1, 2, 3 spaces. So there's the space between 1 and 1.5, and then the space between 1.5 and 2, and the space between 2 and 2.5. So that makes 3 equal sized pieces. So if I want to go 1/3 of the way, I will end up right here, which is one of the 3 parts away in this particular specified distance between 1 and 2.5. And so I will land at 1.5. And so the point is 1.5, or the coordinate is 1.5. Now let's say you wanted to think about this with the procedure. So this blue part here that I have highlighted, saying starting at 1 and going to 2.5, that's the distance between 1 and 2.5. And so for finding distance, we subtract. So 2.5 minus 1, and we get 1.5. And this 1.5 is the same as the answer 1.5, like by looks, but it's actually not the same conceptually. So 2 and 1/2 minus 1 is this distance. This distance here is 1.5 wide in blue. And if you want to go 1/3 of the way, you would then take 1/3 of that distance, which is 1.5. And so that's really 1/3 times 3/2, which is 1/2. And so this 1/2, what that is saying is that's what 1/3 of that distance is. So this is 1/2, this is 1/2, this is 1/2. And so if I want to complete the problem with the procedure, I'd want to think about, well, where is my starting point? Oh, it's 1. And then I'm going to add that third of a distance on, which is 1/2, and get to 1.5. So there's my starting point, and I'm going to add that half here, and that's how I get to 1.5, the coordinate.